They were like, Cynthia, why does everybody have to be okay for you to be okay? You know? And I was like, I don't know. I think I'm supposed to help everybody.
Yeah. Can I stop you right there and have you repeat that question for listeners who might be relating?
Uh-huh. Sure. Cynthia, why does everybody have to be okay for you to be okay? You should be able to be okay without everybody else being okay. Everybody else's okay is not your responsibility.
Yeah.
And I could even remember praying like, I'm so tired of being there for everybody else, and I'm so tired of helping everybody else, and I'm so tired of this. And it was like, well, stop.
Yeah.
How about you just stop?
What's up, you beautiful beasts? I'm Katie. I'm on a mission to help humans become their favorite versions of themselves and to strive for overall health by healing their relationship to food and exercise, healing their relationship to their body, and most importantly, healing their relationship to themselves, all without ever having to step on a scale. I have had the privilege to talk to all kinds of different humans who have been through a plethora of experiences just being a human and existing. I believe that every single time someone shares their story, at least one person listening will learn from it, be inspired by it, and maybe, just maybe, even change the entire direction of their life. These are the stories of humans unveiling their beautiful beast. Keep listening. This is the Unveiling the Beast podcast. Well, thanks for coming on to the Unveiling the Beast podcast. Welcome
Yeah.
to the show. I'm really glad to have you. Um, can you tell the listeners a little bit about who you are and why you think you are who you are?
Well, my name is Cynthia Lyles. Um, I am a mother, a grandmother. Um, I'm single. I was married for 35 years, and I became a widow almost 5 years ago. And through my life experiences, I started a company called The Tapestry of Love. And The Tapestry of Love was morphed out of a book that I was writing, and I started like 13 years ago. And I've always had a heart for women, and I used to do a lot of women empowerment, like Bible studies, book studies, different things like that. And because of that, I when I started working on the book um, as a widow, I started realizing that there were areas in my life that needed healing from prior to my marriage, because I
Mm.
married so young at 25, that by the time I was 60 and became a widow, there was like, oh man, I got to go back to this 25-year-old that needs some healing.
Yeah.
And so when I started that process, my eyes were open to so much, like my voice that had been silenced for so long. And I actually discovered this poet that was within me, and I started writing poetry. And I wrote a poem called "The Voice That Never Was," and
Hmm.
that came from starting to have a voice and being coached and how to delve into the inner part of who I am. So, with that being said, who I am today is a person that has learned how to show up for myself and to make my own needs and goals and desires a priority. And I start doing that through self love and setting healthy boundaries and self compassion and doing things that are just off the chain crazy. If I want to do it, I do it. Things that I would limit myself on prior to now. And so because of that I'm living life to the full, or I begin to live life to the full, as I'm becoming whoever I'm supposed to be. I don't even know yet who I am. I'm just starting to become who
Yeah.
I'm destined to be. And so with that being said, I'm helping women that may be 2 or 3 steps or 2 or 3 days behind where I was or where I am, and I'm helping them to walk alongside them to help them rediscover who they are and what they want. And I find that we as women, when life takes a turn for the worse or unexpected or uncertainty, then we tend to put other people's needs and other people's desires and other people's wants above our own.
Mm-hmm.
And then we find ourselves neglecting ourselves. And then we think we're showing up for everybody else, but we're really not there. We're kind of trying to serve others from an empty cup, whether it's a husband, a child, a boss, um, a grandchild, whatever,
Yeah.
a ailing parent. We try to show up for people because we prioritize others above ourselves. It's that's where my um, company came from. So I walk alongside women that have come to a place of burnout or discouragement or self doubt, uh, loss after grief, after death, of a
Yeah.
loved one. You can feel lost and like, who am I really? And that's again a place that I can identify with. So I basically talk to women from my points of pain that I've overcome and help them to at least come to the place I am. I can at least get you where I'm at, you know.
Yeah.
And so I love to help women and listen to them tell their story. It breaks my heart to see women suffer in silence and neglect their own self, and that kind of downtrodden. There's just this look that I recognize in women because I recognize myself in
Mm.
other women, and when I recognize myself in other women, I see that pain, I see that neglect, and it's like, what about me? What about me? What about me? Is anybody going to ever care about me? And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah. So I learned how to care about me so that others would, right? So, um, unfortunately, trying to are expecting someone else to care about you or to care about me when I'm not caring about myself is kind of not a good not a good thing that
Yeah.
I've learned. And so, but again, I was programmed from an early age that, you know, and cultured into, women are we're to serve and we're to submit to our husbands and we're to do all of these superwoman things. I mean, even songs. I mean, I can remember back when I was young and hearing, I can't think of the name of the lady, but she sung this song called "I'm Not Your Superwoman." you know and so we're always got these mantras of what we're not, but we continue to show up for everybody else.
Mm.
So that's the woman that I want to walk alongside, whether it's a widow, a divorcee, just somebody that's ready to make their own life a priority. And that's who I've become, is somebody that's making my own life a priority, my own needs, my own goals, my own wants. Um, you know, if I want to turn cartwheels in the park, you know, so
Yeah.
just show up, and I'm more than my weight, my size. I'm more than what I look like on the outside. There's a inner beauty. There's an inner strength that has been developed uh, over the years because of standing in those places of
Hmm.
of just wanting to give up. I can remember at 18, right out of high school. I graduated a year early, 17, but about 18, I was so discouraged in who I was at the time and who I thought I should be that I actually attempted suicide.
Mm.
And I was in a mental hospital for some time as they were, shooting me up with these big needles and all of this stuff, trying to get me to come back to whoever I'm supposed to be. that I didn't know who I was. And
Right.
so I overcame that. I didn't die. I didn't kill myself. So then that went on into um, a marriage that was very dysfunctional and abusive, verbally, physically, sexually abusive, and which caused me to land in um, a home for battered women. So kudos to House of Ruth. I love House of Ruth. I was able to stay there with two little boys for 45 cents a day.
Mm.
25 cents for me and a dime for each one of my children. And I was able to go to work and be in a place of safety and have a pro bono attorney, a pro bono counselor, and all of that helped me to get to another place. And then when I came out of there, I was working and I met this awesome guy, got married. He helped me raise my children. And we had our ups and downs and all of that stuff too. And I'm writing a book. And in the book, I talk about, even that Humpty Dumpty experience of his health going up and down and putting him
Yeah.
back together and all of that.
Yeah.
And so now, he's passed away. I'm starting over. My kids are grown and gone and doing a great job. And, I even have a great grandson named Ezekiel. And
Mm.
so I'm just, again, that I don't know if that answered your question of who I am,
It
but
did. Yeah.
that's who I am today is I am a woman that is very empathetic toward women. I love to walk alongside and support them as I'm becoming who I believe that God wants me to be in the earth.
Mm. I'm so happy you brought that up because I know, so for the listeners, we've been in a course together since when did it start? January?
Mm-hmm.
And just between January and now, and at the time of recording, it is August 21st. I have seen you just blossom, you know? I've seen so much growth in you, and the part that has stood out the most is, you finding yourself. And you talk about um you're you're becoming somebody, but from a coaching perspective, I think you're unbecoming who the world told you to be. And you're
Mm-hmm.
finding your beast. You're unveiling your beast. That's what the
Yes.
whole beast is about. And so yeah, can you speak a little more on the piece of taking care of you first? Like no matter what, me first. Because I remember one of our classes together. I was listening to the replay. I'm like, I hope she talks about this on the podcast. But you're just like, I don't care, me first.
Yeah.
Bottom line. So can you
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
you talk a little bit more about
I
that?
need to go back and revisit that.
I know
But yes,
I was
so
gonna listen to it again. Sorry to interrupt. I was gonna listen
no,
to it again, but I don't remember which class it was.
yeah, I don't either, but I need to listen to that again because when you're speaking, you don't it's like that passion that came out. I just remember seeing all the hearts and people saying
Hmm.
like preach it and all this stuff. But I do remember saying, I don't give a damn about nobody else right now. It's about me. I
Yeah.
remember saying that. And what I've learned that I wasn't aware of is number one, because I never had boundaries, I thought boundaries were like rude almost. Like
Mm.
I thought that if everything wasn't open and free and everybody could come and go and be nice and that was the way to be. And but what I didn't realize is that all of my energy I was giving out to so many people. And I didn't realize that energy I needed for myself. And so because I wasn't showing up for myself, there were so many areas of my life that were being neglected to where like I couldn't remember like, did you put your trash out? What did you need to do something, but what is it?
Mm.
And I can't remember what it is, but my trash goes out every Monday, but I can't remember it on Monday. And then by Wednesday, it was like, oh, yeah, I was supposed to put my trash out. Well, that was how that showed up for me is that because I love to listen to people tell their story, and I am a transformational coach, then I was doing that so willingly and so freely that my phone rang all the time and I would listen to
Mm.
other people's stuff. And I became like a dump yard for people's garbage for so many years. And I didn't know how not to do that because
Mm-hmm.
I thought that that was my calling. That was my gift to the world, was to listen to people and really discern where they're at and offer some type of relief to them by
Mm-hmm.
listening to them. But what I didn't realize was as they were being relieved, I was releasing energy that I needed to keep. Does that kind of,
Yeah.
is that landing?
Oh,
So
yeah. And then in turn, you had nothing left for yourself,
I had
right?
nothing left for myself.
Yeah.
And I would spend all of this time researching and finding stuff. You know, I think about when my husband was living, I would wake up in the middle of the night looking for answers to diabetes or to, try to find ways to help him to have a better health.
Mm-hmm.
However, he wasn't making his health a priority. I was making his health a priority. And if a person is not choosing to do anything different, he was happy with his life the way it was. So so yeah, so again, I spent so many years, if hindsight being 2020, I was so codependent that even counselors couldn't reach me. They were like, Cynthia, why does everybody have to be okay for you to be okay? You know? And I was like, I don't know. I think I'm supposed to help everybody.
Yeah. Can I stop you right there and have you repeat that question for listeners who might be relating?
Uh-huh. Sure. Cynthia, why does everybody have to be okay for you to be okay? You should be able to be okay without everybody else being okay. Everybody else's okay is not your responsibility.
Yeah.
And I could even remember praying like, I'm so tired of um being there for everybody else, and I'm so tired of helping everybody else, and I'm so tired of this. And it was like, well, stop.
Yeah.
How about you just stop? I can remember a psychologist telling me the best thing he could do for me was put a sign on my head that said no, no, just say no. Can you say no? That's a complete sentence.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got my no back, I think even during um, um, being in a Sean's coaching class, one of the things, I think it was last year, toward the end of last year, but I know starting this year, I said, this is the year that I'm going to act like a 2-year old. No, 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 no. I'm two.
No.
No, no.
Mm.
Yeah. So yeah. So that has been a very pivotal time. This tapestry of my journey. My book is called that's coming out is called The Tapestry of Love, which is the name of my company. But it's every thread is valuable.
Mm.
And that includes you, that includes self. And so when I started hearing things like self-compassion and all of that, it was just so foreign. Like that was a language I never heard of.
Yeah.
Um, you know, and how do I show self-compassion for myself? And I learned that. And now I want to share that with every woman I come in contact with that's a caregiver or in a time of uncertainty, job loss. Even losing a job can be so like, what am I going to do now? How am I going to
Yeah.
live? How am I going to feed myself? All of that. So you were
Yeah.
going to ask me something.
I just wanted to speak to the self-care piece and like I'm a recovering people pleaser also, and we get in this headspace of truly believing that it's our responsibility to make sure everybody else is okay. And in terms like self-care, self-love, self-acceptance, like all that, at least for me in my experience, it was selfish. Like, how could I possibly do that for me? Everybody else needs me. No, they don't. And coming from a perspective like or coming at it from the I don't know, angle of like we are the only people that we are going to be with 24/7. Like find a way to be okay with you. No matter what you look like, no matter where you are, in any part of your life adventure, like find a way to be okay with you because you are the only person you're going to be with forever until the day you die. When you go on a new adventure, like a new like if you open a business, if you go on a health journey, whatever it is, you're the only person that's going to be there when you go around the corner and everything else is unknown. So why not? And I know it's a lot of work and it's not just like a oh okay, yay, I love me, but like find a way to do that. Does that make sense?
It makes perfectly good sense. And another thing that I didn't realize from the little family names that you're called, like Butterball, like I was called Butterball, Chubby,
Mm,
different names like that. What I didn't realize is that I became my own critic,
mm-hmm.
and I had to unbecome or unlearn how to stop criticizing myself. Looking in the mirror and looking for the flaws, looking for what's wrong. You know, never seeing myself as enough already or good enough already.
Yeah.
And through the self-compassion piece, when I started being compassionate and just like loving on myself, it's like I started buying different fragrances like body oils, and rubbing them on myself to feel me, like, that was empowering. And then when I started buying flowers and just arranging them in my room or in my kitchen or in my dining room, and just really just feeling the love that flowers, the life of flowers, the beauty of the flowers brought to me.
Mm,
Whereas I could remember when I was married, I always wanted my husband to buy me flowers. Well, the only time he would buy me flowers is he thought I was pissed off at him. If I was mad, I got flowers, and then they had no value.
yeah.
And now the flowers that I get for myself have value. So that again is a way that I show self compassion, and it's been empowering. And so as I'm filling my own cup, I, now it's like that. You're an independent woman, right? Because you're finding ways to fill your own cup. Um, and if you're single, that's what option do I have?
Yeah.
I refuse to go without what I feel like I need, because
Mm,
now I've learned to assess my needs. And I think every woman has to learn how to assess what are your needs? What do you really want? Because if you don't know what you want and if you don't know what you need, you can't communicate that to anyone. And then you're expecting someone to read your mind or be a genie in a bottle and just poof, give you what you need when you don't even know yourself. It's not going to happen.
yeah. And there's also the aspect of expecting people to give you what you haven't asked for, right? I
That
Sean was my coach for a year, and one of our coaching sessions, I don't even remember how it started or anything like that, but we were talking like what came out of it was a long time ago. My husband and I, we've been married for 10 years, together for 16. We've known each other for 20, something like that, 25 years. But I told him a long time ago that I don't like I don't like flowers. And I told him that so that I wouldn't be disappointed if he never got me flowers.
Mm.
And so this came out like I do like getting flowers, but because of my past experience with my ex-husband and like that's a whole other story,
Mm-hmm.
I just flat out said I don't like flowers so that I wouldn't be disappointed that he never got me flowers. And of course
Mm-hmm.
I still was. Like why is
Mm-hmm.
doesn't he know that I'm lying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I had a point in telling you this, but so I after that session I went downstairs to my husband and I said I need to tell you something. And he's like, "What?" I'm like, "I actually do like flowers." And I explained the whole thing to him and he's like, "Okay." And so I think my birthday was the next week he brought me flowers and chocolate. I'm like,
Did you
but
cry? Yeah.
anyway, like that I think the point is like you said, figuring out what you want, or if you know what you want, you have to ask for it
Yes.
because people can't read our minds, you know, as much as we want them to.
Mm-mm, mm-mm,
Yeah,
mm-mm.
can't read our minds.
And that goes in so many areas. Like I didn't know that a lady that I go to church with, I know she's a great writer. She does the newsletter for our church and everything. But I've been sitting on my book because it needed some polishing and some editing to help it be cohesive before it went to the publisher to do their editing part, right?
Hmm.
And I finally like realized I don't know, I guess I just became to the place where I was so frustrated that I asked someone for help. She was so willing. She's like, I said, well, I'm willing to pay you whatever. She said, Cynthia, I'm not going to charge you. She said, I love this. And then it was so encouraging. She's like, Cynthia, she's got a thick British accent. Um,
Mm.
she's from the
Hey,
UK or
Cynthia.
somewhere anyway. Um, but she says, Cynthia, darling, this is riveting. And I was like, riveting. Oh my goodness. I mean, I felt so encouraged. And so, but here my book has been sitting and not being released because I didn't ask for the help I needed to get it to the next
Mm.
place. So even that, you know, is a big part of my growth journey was asking for help and saying, hey, I
Mhm.
need, can you look over this and kind of tell me whatever. She immediately started reading and encouraging and then asking me questions to connect the dots. Well, Cynthia, I don't, you kind of left me on a hanger right here. Can you give me some more details so I can fill this in? Absolutely. I knew
That's
it was
awesome.
missing, but I didn't know what was missing.
Yeah,
And so even that has just been like so giving me such an internal strength that I'm
yeah.
asking for help. And so now it's like, oh, here I come. I'm saying no, I'm asking for help. Oh boy, I'm growing up.
Yeah. And that asking for help is really hard to do, especially as a people pleaser, because, you know, we are supposed to help everyone else and do everything for ourselves on our own. It's like,
Yeah, yeah.
why? Like, why do we expect ourselves to do all the things for everyone else and not expect anything in return? You know?
I know. And then play the victim of
No one
um
helps me.
I don't get reciprocated back all that I
Yeah.
give out. Some of my
Uh-huh.
clients tell me things like that. If
Mm-hmm.
I could just only get if I could only be reciprocated what I give, you know, and it's like there's no space for it because you're always. I'll tell you a funny story. I was trimming my hedges in my yard, and you know how when you trim the limbs off, like different stuff, you have to move that stuff away,
Right.
right? Well, I got tired, and so by the time I got to the end, I left some of the dead branches on top of the hedge. Well, a few days later, that hedge was starting to die because of the dead parts that was on there, right? And so it was like it was an aha moment for me, was that um what was the point I was going to make about
You got
um
to remove the dead stuff first.
well,
Surprise.
yeah, it was
Something like that.
like like as we're growing, there is a you have to move away what's dead. Like
Hmm.
you can't just let it just lay there
Yeah.
and cause you to just dry up or die. There's if you're what's living can't have what's dead on top of it.
Yeah.
Um, but oh, I was talking about though the harvest. So the I brought that up, but I was really wanting to go to the fact of there's a different posture when you're planting a garden and when you're taking your basket to go pick the stuff up.
Mm.
And I spent my whole life planting, planting, giving, doing, planting, planting. And it was like, where's my harvest? And so I was over here helping somebody while somebody else was calling me to come give me something. But I was never in position to receive because I was always somewhere giving, doing, sowing. And
Yeah.
then I'm upset because I'm not reaping, but I'm not in position to receive when someone's trying to give me something. So now I'm available and I'm saying no to those opportunities to serve and give. Now I'm available for that. So again, so I keep my basket, my harvest basket ready so I
Hmm.
can pick up what the world wants to give me. And it doesn't have to be people that I know, it could be like, for example, I was in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, and I was in a restaurant and everybody in the restaurant spoke Spanish. And my husband and I got ready to leave out of the restaurant and we couldn't pay our bill. And they were telling us, no, you know, and they were telling us that the bill had been taken care of. We were in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, and somebody paid for our bill.
Mm.
And nobody
Really.
spoke Spanish. Nobody spoke English in the restaurant. So that was a reciprocation. That was a harvest from some giving. And we didn't even, so different little moments like that in time along my journey where I've seen that take place um, is it's like, okay, pay attention, pay attention to where the flow of of what you need to receive is.
Hmm.
And it's a different posture that I have to be in order to receive. And that's humility, that's humbleness, you
Hmm.
know. I can also remember a gentleman in line behind me in the grocery store, and he appeared to be homeless, very dirty, appeared to be homeless. And I didn't want to break a $20 bill. So I'm digging through my purse for change. And it was like I needed, like, I don't know, 3 cents or something like that. And this man that was behind me that appeared to be homeless was trying to, offer me the 3 cents so that I didn't have to break my 20. And me, I'm thinking, well, I need to give this, I don't want to take his money. He looks like he needs it, right? But I heard this voice on the inside of me say, um, I'm breaking off pride
Mm.
and I'm opening up a door of blessing for him. And so I had to humble myself enough to receive from what I thought and judged as a homeless man. No, I don't need your money. Let me try to give you, and no, receive that 3 pennies because it's going to be a benefit to him and to you.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
I love that.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. And
So it
that's
was
oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, no. So that helped my character, but it helped him because he was so willing to give out of his whatever, out of his
Yeah.
lease. And I don't know, he could have been a millionaire. I don't know. It's just this the outer appearance, right? So
Yeah.
these prejudgments, these judgments, oh Lord, help me to get past judging.
That reminds me, I don't know if I'll keep this story in, but My stepdad owns a multi-million dollar company and he dresses like a homeless guy. Like he doesn't care. Like he's not flashy. But he went to buy a car and pay in cash once and they were like, yeah, right. So then when
Mm-hmm.
he came back and wrote them a check, they're like, really? Like you really expect he's like, I'll wait, go cash it. So they did and like, everything went through. But it's just so funny, like the judgments. How do I say this? Like if we see somebody dressed like a homeless person, they're homeless in our head. That's the judgment. But there's also like the people that wear the flashy suits who are totally broke and are pretending to live in a mansion when they live in their car, you know? So like we don't know. We don't know anybody's story.
Mm-mm.
And not to say that the judging is bad because we're humans and that we judge by nature, but it's just when we can just stop and think for a minute and be like, where's this judgment coming from?
Mm-hmm.
Then it opens up the space to accept the 3 cents, you know?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. So all of these experiences that we go through day after day and go through life, it's all how we assess it as it relates to self, not as it um, reflects on the other person. And so again, that determination and passion that I now have for putting myself first,
Mm-hmm.
um, again, it's just been so eye opening of so many things. Like when I'm walking through my house, I mean, just from room to room or walking outside on my deck. I mean, just sitting out there sometimes and just learning how to be with myself and my own inner voice, sound, whatever. If it's a song, if it's a poem, if it's a whatever, or if it's just a nothing,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But to be able to sit in and be, just sit and be without, picking up a phone to call somebody or finding a way to um, um, fill that space. And so what I had to figure out, what is it in me that make me have to be needed? Why
Mm-hmm.
do I need to be needed? What is it? Why am I so willing to come and mow your yard when my yard needs mowing? What is that?
Yeah.
What is that? Is that self-hatred? Is the opposite, is the other side of a lack of self-love? Is that self-hatred? You know?
Yeah,
Um,
maybe. What just came up for me when you said that was is thinking the other person is more important than us, than ourselves, because of the messaging that we got growing up, you know. I'm going to silence your voice. That means what you have to say is not important. Then therefore you grow up thinking that the neighbor's yard is more important than yours because
mm,
you're less important than them. That's
mhm.
just what came to me when you said that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Because I can remember being in, I have friends that are, you know, psychologists, have big roles in their, in corporate America and all of this stuff. And, but they value the wisdom that I have
Hmm.
and the life experiences that I have. And so I actually even had to make confessions over myself that my peers receive value. My peers that are functioning at their highest level receive value from my presence.
Mm.
I had to encourage myself that it doesn't matter what your title, how much money you have, there's still value that you receive from my presence. And I had to accept that for myself.
Mm.
And that was a process. And that was after going to Lisa Nichols, Speak and Write.
Hmm.
So I started that confession then. And that's where I met Sean for the first time, was at Speaking Right.
Mm.
Yeah.
He's kind of cool, I guess.
Ah, yeah. Well, he put on this, he did this. Have you ever seen him do that talk where he puts on all these different color overalls,
All the layers
all
and
the
yeah,
layers?
uh-huh.
That
Yeah.
just like, oh man, that was so eye-opening for me, taking the layers off,
Yeah.
taking the layers off, you know. And I hear a lot of language like if I'm totally honest or in all transparency. I'm like, well, those two, I'm like, so how do you normally show up?
Yeah.
In all transparency, I need to say this. Or if I'm totally honest, let me say this. So, what is all that other stuff you've been telling me?
I feel called out. I've said that on episodes before where I'm like, complete transparency, and then I go into something like deeper or something
Uh-huh,
controversial. So yeah.
uh-huh,
But what
uh-huh.
you're saying makes sense. Like,
Yeah,
does that mean I keep secrets from everyone?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, if I'm totally honest, so that precursor,
Mm-hmm.
again, it's just again our human nature, our human experience,
Mm-hmm.
and we all have this this part of ourself. You heard of the Johari window?
No.
The Johari window talks about like pretty much we all have a blind spot. So you know what you know about me. I know what I know about me. But there's some things that you may see that you won't say,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Um, so it's a quadrant, but when you get a chance, just kind of Google Johari window,
Okay.
and it basically it's about our blind spots and what we know about ourselves, what other people know about us that we don't know about ourselves, and that kind of thing.
Mm.
And because nobody's just going to be blunt and come out and say, well, you know what, you
You know what? You got some spinach in your teeth.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, just even little stuff like that. It's
Mm-hmm.
we struggle with it.
Yeah.
And even in the family, I can find myself like holding my breath. Like I want to say something back and I'll swallow it down instead of verbalizing it because I don't have the language not to be disrespectful. So I just don't say anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in my mind, I'll be thinking, but not say it. So
Yeah.
again, we're all a work in progress, but I think we're all connected.
Mm-hmm.
So it's my belief that we're all part of a tapestry. We're all part of, you know, every living thing is connected from the trees to the animals to us. We're all connected some kind of way, and we can all benefit and add value to each other. And and that's the part is tearing down those walls that cause the division or the separation so that we're not fully benefiting from from those that we come in contact with.
Mm.
There's a benefit. Um, there's a benefit in just in the mastermind pod that we were in. We all come from different walks of life. We're doing different things. We live different lifestyles, but there's still this. There's a commonality. There's always something that is common
Yeah.
that we can build on and move forward, move ourselves forward. We can there's a part of who you are that can help me to move forward, like this podcast. I've never created, did the technology stuff to do a podcast. However, to just sit and talk on your podcast has been so just, I mean, it's like we're sitting like at the kitchen table. If we had a
Yeah.
cup of tea or a cup of coffee, we could sit here and, you know,
Yeah.
And like this is a table talk.
Yeah.
Katie and Cynthia's table talk.
Thank you for saying that too, because um I'm very much about the raw, real, organic conversations rather than having a preset list of questions, which there's nothing wrong with that. If you have that kind of podcast, totally cool.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I don't like to know ahead of time where the conversation's going to go
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like I learn so much more from the guest when it's just this back and forth and this like, oh yeah, and this made me think of this and oh yeah, So, um yeah, thanks for saying that because I try
Yeah.
to make this a place where people want to come back and hang out with me and
Yeah.
have a cup of
I,
coffee.
I definitely want to come
Cheers.
back. You make it so easy. It's so easy to talk to. One of the things that I wanted to share was that again, um, like what you're doing, and I think because we have some commonalities. But that woman that is overwhelmed, uncertain, um, and whatever issue, challenge that a woman may be walking through, to have that safe place that she could tell her story, that safe place that she can receive, just the right question,
Yeah.
that she can, you know, get that resiliency that's needed to get up again, to move again, to go again, to embrace life again, to be happy again, to have her joy returned, you know, and to know that she matters. I matter. I just want, like if I want to be the cheerleader to tell every woman on planet Earth, you matter.
Yeah.
You matter. You're valuable. You're important. You're worthy of love. You're worthy of everything that the universe has to offer you. You deserve it all. And you're not invisible. You're not silent. You are just a, a person to be cherished. And when you start seeing that seeing that for yourself and start embracing that, and then exploring that around people that you feel safe with. I
Mm-hmm.
want women that want to explore the the possibilities of that one thing on the inside of them that they never told anybody about, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, whatever that is,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Um and then recognize, like I had a woman recognize, Cynthia, you're a poet. Your writing is poetry. Sounds like when I went back through my journal, I found poems
Mm.
never even I was blind to. So sometimes just, that person that can identify, be common with you and say, you know what, I can relate to that. I love how you did that for me today. Is that, you found another story to to bring the fullness of what I'm relating. So it's like there's that connection
Yeah.
that we're relating. Okay, yeah, that I got a story that says that.
Yeah.
Um, but no woman should have to navigate through any tough season of life by themselves. And so that's what I want to do. I don't want any woman to have to try and navigate through that tough part of their life, that tough season of their life by themselves. If it wasn't for I became a Mary Kay consultant just because of the positive environment, the
Mm-hmm.
positive community. And
Yeah.
those women supported me through hospital stays, through, wanting to give up, through, I just had to keep showing up.
Yeah.
And if I didn't show up, there was no harm. If I didn't show up for 3 months, they treated me like I was there every week, you know? And
Yeah.
so just that unconditional love, that unconditional camaraderie was empowering for that season of my life. Now
Mm-hmm.
here 10 years later, some of the some of the training that I received, business training, character training, how not to judge people training, all of that stuff was out of being part of a community of women that just support each other
Yeah.
just support each other just because we're just here to support you. And so if I can do that for 10 women, you know, um, I'm happy. But if I can do it through podcasts with 10,000, that's even better. Because with the technology that we have, we can now do virtual podcasts, virtual Zoom calls, group coaching, and
Mm-hmm.
we can share the gift that we have with the world. We can have a global transformational company and never leave our office. Like I'm in my office right now. I think you're in your studio or something, but
Yeah,
um,
which is currently my bedroom. This is a green screen.
okay, well, your green
You
screen is
know,
working.
goals. Goals.
Yeah, that's so awesome. I'm in my office at home, and but I just want women to know you don't have to carry the weight. You know, too
Yeah.
often we carry weight that we don't have to carry, and we keep moving and we keep smiling.
Yeah.
I did that so long. Everybody would say, "You have such a beautiful smile." Nobody knew I was crying in the shower or crying inside or,
Yeah.
just put your game face on.
Yeah.
Put your put your Mary Kay face on and then put your game smile on and show up. And you're crying. I mean, just think about people. I think about people like that commit suicide and they were like what's Mrs. Doubtfire? What was his name?
Oh, Robin Williams.
That man was so funny and I just loved him so much. I would have never thought that he was in a place to where he would be suicidal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
That
by
one
the
still
same
hits
token,
hard.
hmm,
That one still hits hard for me.
yeah.
Yeah.
So even in the 5 years next month that I've been by myself, um, I see people and they're still expecting me to reach out and for me to be the same person I was. I'm not the same person I was. And I don't have that reach out anymore
Yeah.
because part of something's missing, something has changed. So, but I have the propensity of being depressed. I have the propensity of if I didn't purposely put myself in communities to hold me accountable to growing and moving my life forward, well, I could lay here and do the buns and the pizza and give up. The Cape Cod potato chips, I'm
Mm.
naming all my favorite stuff that I've choose to not do. I signed up for a program called the 40-day turn up, and that taught me how to make healthy meals for myself. And when I started making the healthy meals for myself, I started loving myself more because I had
Mm.
to take pictures and post them. So I wanted it to look good. Right.
Yeah.
And so that helped me though. So that then I made a commitment that I wasn't going to eat out more than 2 times a week. I made that commitment to myself, not eating in a restaurant more than 2 times a week. So I have to cook. So then that led to doing meal preps and paying more attention to what I'm eating and moving this beast.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
see you all the time moving the beast. I need to move the beast, right?
Yes.
As opposed to going into a space that's unhealthy. And again, we as women that are carrying that silent pain, that silent trauma, that silent hurt, that part of us that nobody knows, that would cause us to overeat, overshop, over whatever.
Yeah.
It could be anything that we do that's unhealthy in an unhealthy way to try to avoid the pain. And it becomes a lifestyle. How do I avoid this that I'm feeling? And then how do I assess what I'm feeling? Because sometimes the pain comes up, and without the coaching that I've received over the past 2 years, the pain would come up, but I didn't know how to identify it. So because I didn't know how to identify it and I didn't have language for it, then I would just go to what's familiar. So I found myself, Katie, walking down the potato chip aisle with tears in my eyes, buying Cape Cod potato chips because I did not know what I was feeling and I couldn't identify it. I knew that I didn't really want those chips, and I know that they weren't the best option for what I needed at the time, but it was so common and so easy to self-soothe myself
Mm-hmm.
with eating a half a bag of chips because
Yeah.
that was my comfort. And I was just trying to soothe that. I was just trying to soothe the beast. I didn't
Yeah.
know, you know. And
Yeah.
so how do you how do so sometimes, ladies, we need to come and trust someone that's skilled, that really want to help you to find ways to assess and to help you to ask you the right questions to help you identify what the beast really needs. Because I knew I didn't need those potato chips, but I didn't know what I need. So I'm tearing up and I'm crying. And so again, all of these are skills that I'm learning. And as I'm learning how to coach and I'm being coached, I'm applying these new skills to myself so that I can be an even better coach.
Mm, I love that.
Mhm.
And so, with all that said, I feel like that's a perfect segue into my last question for you. And if you want to go like maybe deeper into the how or whatever comes up for you, but if everybody on the planet stopped what they were doing and looked at you and said, Cynthia, please give me some advice, what would you say?
I would say take a deep breath and blow it out. Come center with yourself. Find your place of peace within. And then let that peace be your guiding light to every decision and every choice you make. Because if that peace is there and I make choices based on the peace, then I have the courage to say, no, I'm sorry, I don't have peace about that. And it's a nice way of me saying no. I'm not offensive. I'm not being offensive, but I just don't have peace about it. Honestly, I just don't have peace about it. In all transparency, I don't have peace about it. I don't have peace about it. So the answer is no. And the other thing that I would add is the fear love. Love, perfect love eliminates fear. But what is perfect love? How do I get to perfect love? How do I get there? How do I find the love that would cause me to move forward without fear? How do I do that? And again, it's going to start with that place of peace and leaning into that tough thing. Because a lot of times that thing that I'm fearing, what I've learned is my ego protecting me. And I have to lean into that podcast that I've never done before, or this is my second podcast. And when I tell you that I had no fear today,
Mm,
I didn't fret, I didn't have any fear, I wasn't frazzled. I didn't care because of being coached. What I have to say to the world, it doesn't matter what I look like. It don't matter how many hums I make. It doesn't matter how many mistakes I make in the communication. The bottom line is show up in who I am for real and share from my heart what is I feel my assignment is. So the world, I believe, would be a better place if every person would make choices and decisions from a place of peace.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And with that being said, I feel peace right now.
Mm.
Just in
Yeah.
our words are so powerful. And this is another thing I think that we as women, when we get frazzled and get, we're so multitask oriented and we can do 15 things at one time. I used to be a dispatcher for the highway patrol and I had to do 15 things at one time. And so in all that multitask and not focusing in on honing in on one thing, then we can come to that place of overwhelm and it's not intentional and we don't even realize it. We just get so used to being on the roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
And that roller coaster just spinning and we're spinning or we're going up and down with the roller coaster or we're on that, what's that thing that go in a circle?
Merry-go-round?
The merry-go-round.
Mm-hmm.
I used to always say, I just want to get off the merry-go-round, but I don't know when to get off. It's going too fast. I can't jump off. If I jump off, I'm going to hurt myself. And here comes somebody else with something else. It goes fast. Okay, I can do it. I can do it. Let me do it. But not anymore. No more of that. No more of that.
Yeah.
So, um, so it's okay to pause. It's okay to pause. It's okay to show up unprepared, you know. Um, it's okay because somebody's going to benefit from you being honest and authentic about who you are. So guess what? I don't care. I don't care no more. I'm just gonna get in the game, Katie. I'm leaving the batting cages. I'm leaving Top Golf, and I'm getting in the game. I want to go to the real golf course. I want to go to the real. I want to come up for bat in the real game. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not part of the Braves or the Dodgers, but I want to be in the game. I want to take my bat. And I want to build a team of women that are ready to take their bat. And provide that place and that encouragement to say, come on, girl, it's your turn. It's your turn. We can do this. And you're not alone. And you don't have to do it alone. Nobody does. Not me, not Katie. We just join our forces together. We hook our arms together.
Like
Yep.
that.
Yep. We come together and we make it happen. And our purpose will be fulfilled. And as we're fulfilling our purpose, somebody else is getting what they need to fulfill theirs. And it all comes from, being intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't give up. Winston Churchill, right? Never, ever give up. Never, never give up.
Beautiful beasts, Cynthia Lyles signing off. Until next time.